Welcome to See Yourself TV, and I just hope you guys are having a beautiful, blessed day. Now, if you're new to the channel, this is just a review or reaction channel as well as an informational channel. Hopefully the informational part help you and someone else out, and we just gonna watch some videos and talk about them. Nothing special, but for those that's been rocking with me, I just gotta say I appreciate you so much because I enjoy doing these videos, and like I always say, I enjoy the comments a lot more. But the subs is nice too, but I enjoy them comments because that let me know people was paying attention and listening, and then we can get some discussion across, and hopefully we can contaminate one another to do better things in life. But I don't want to make this intro too long, so let's get it.
In the car, what car? The SUV. In the SUV. Get down on the ground! Get down on the ground! He's on top of me! Watch crossfire! Watch crossfire!
It's what officials in Virginia are calling a once-in-a-generation happening when a police officer is attacked, abducted, and taken hostage in his own squad car. All this leading up to a deadly officer-involved shooting.
Did I just hear that correctly? A police officer was attacked and abducted, and then they stole his car with him being in it? Did I hear that correctly?
He's going for my gun! He's going for my gun!
Please just get back.
Get off my gun!
I often say that these body-worn camera videos speak for themselves. I believe this is one of those instances. You probably picked up that our officer was attacked, to say the least. The perpetrator attempted viciously and violently to disarm our uniformed Fairfax County police officer, and I think you saw that rather clearly. On top of that, he was literally abducted and taken hostage in his own marked police car.
It happened.
So you mean to tell me you not only get on the police officer gun, you know what I'm saying? You get on the police officer gun. Now you up here trying to take his car. Like, what is wrong with people nowadays? You know the consequences and what's gonna happen to you when you try to do some stupid shit like that, right?
It happened on May 11th in Fairfax County, Virginia. When a license plate reader tracked a stolen U-Haul, a Fairfax County Police Department officer responded to a gas station where the vehicle was parked. Body camera video shows the responding officer approach the suspect, later identified as 38-year-old Brandon LeMagne.
Can I do something?
Driving the U-Haul?
Yeah.
Okay, can you talk to me real quick over here? Of course. Alright, we're gonna go right over here, man.
What did I do?
LeMagne can be heard asking the officer what he did, as the officer explains he's being detained.
Detained, okay? So
For what?
this report stolen.
Why? Since when?
You're not in the restaurant, you're just being detained, okay?
What's reported stolen?
Two-ton Bravo, hold the channel, send me a unit to Sicko up here by North Walmart.
Just seconds after the officer approaches LeMagne, a fight breaks out. The officer calls out via his radio, saying LeMagne is reaching for his gun.
What the
Sir, you're good. Get off my gun. Signal one, signal one, signal one, go to my gun!
Our holsters that, and I have one on right now, that carry our firearm have a double retention feature. I'm not going to describe that double retention feature because I don't want that to be public knowledge. But thankfully, we've had this double retention feature holster for several years because one of the two retention mechanisms was defeated. It was the second retention mechanism that ultimately contributed to this officer living to fight another day, because I firmly believe that the perpetrator, the assailant in this case, if he were to have lodged that gun free from the officer's holster, would have killed him, would have executed him. There's no doubt in my mind.
The struggle continues as the officer again asks LeMagne to get off his weapon.
What's reported stolen?
Sir, get off my gun. Signal one! Signal one! Just start off! Signal one! Sir, you're not going to jail right now, right? Get off my gun.
Nah, you're gonna...
I'm not going.
Seconds later, LeMagne opens the officer's squad car and both partially enter the vehicle.
That's all you guys were going to call this signal 1, no response.
Look.
Get off my gun! Get off my gun!
As the struggle continues, the vehicle is put into gear and begins moving.
He's going for my gun! He's going for my gun!
Please just get back.
Get off my gun!
The vehicle is thrown in reverse and crashes into a nearby McDonald's, hitting 2 other vehicles along the way. Meanwhile, other officers respond to the chaotic scene.
Just crashed into the Walmart.
Richmond Highway, it's a gas station right next to a McDonald's, a fast food restaurant. There's cars, there's people. There certainly could have been, there weren't, and thankfully there weren't. There could have been pedestrians either coming or going into the McDonald's. They were inside, thankfully. Their cars were parked and unoccupied outside. So certainly that runs through our minds, and it runs through the minds of the officers in real time when they're dealing with a potentially real deadly threat. And that assault that went mobile, that kidnapping, that abduction that went mobile, happened in real time in a small amount of space. So our officers are trained like police officers across the country to consider their background, to consider the presence of others who could be in harm's way. But oftentimes, in spite of those best efforts, there is some inevitable potential that other people could be harmed. And I put that squarely on the perpetrator. He chose to do this. We responded to his actions. His actions, in my opinion, his intent rather, was to kill that police officer. So, but certainly that's a consideration. And anytime we have a critical incident, there will be training conversations that result. There are certainly some parts of this critical incident that we will continue to examine and will be part of our training curriculum going forward, either to enhance or to alter. But that's all part of our review.
Officials say 2 of the responding officers opened fire after the squad car crashed.
In the car! In the car! What car? The SUV! In the SUV! Get down on the ground! Get down on the ground! He's on top of me! Watch crossfire! Watch crossfire!
And you can also hear the engine revving, and you can hear the engine revving because our perpetrator is on that gas pedal. He's not done. So any notion that when that vehicle came to rest in the McDonald's parking lot, it was over, it wasn't over. It was still very much a very active scene. So the investigation will examine the actions of the police officers. Ultimately, we'll share all of our findings in real time with the Commonwealth's Attorney's Office. But a lot of those questions will be subject to the investigation.
Responding officers then escort the wounded officer from the squad, working to treat his injuries.
Is he hit anywhere? They're checking! Several shots fired. We got the guy. Where are you shot? I don't know. We got an officer. We're checking him, see if he's been hit. Everybody expedite.
I need the location.
Pendle. McDonald's.
Where are you hit, bro? Do you have any I don't know.
The Fairfax County Police Chief says the responding officers acted to save the life of the wounded officer.
But my assessment in this particular case was this is a once in a generation happening to a police department, even a big police department like Fairfax, big and busy. This doesn't happen but once a generation for a police officer to be the subject of someone attacking him, trying to pull his own gun out of his holster. So, and it was very much in progress. He was assaulted, he was taken hostage, he was abducted. The actions of the 2 responding officers, I believe, were more than appropriate given what we know then and now. The investigation still has to move forward. We still have to ask questions that we need answers to. And some of those are forensic questions with forensic answers. So the investigation is not complete. The investigation is ongoing. But these officers, and I think, believe what you're seeing there. These officers ran toward gunfire, and their only intent was to save the life of that police officer who was screaming for help.
LeMagne was pronounced dead on the scene.
The perpetrator...
We all know he wasn't going to make it in this type of situation, just for the simple fact. You try to steal the police officer a gun, and then you go get in his patrol car with him, like, fighting for his life, because you definitely don't care about nothing, not even your own self. Now, man, I just... The thing that kills me about people nowadays is how, you know what I'm saying, they do stuff thinking they just Superman or Batman, and they plan of being dumb and stupid is just gonna work. You know what I'm saying? Like, what part of dumb and stupid you know is not gonna work? Because this type of shit, it never worked. We talk about you guys all the time that do this, and y'all type of people still do it.
Perpetrator was struck several times. I don't know if we know right now. We may, as the investigation moves forward, which round or rounds proved to be the fatal rounds, and from which firearm they came from. Obviously, 2 uniformed Fairfax County police officers a firearm.
This video out of New Jersey is crazy. It all went down on Wednesday at a motel in North Bergen, where a fight broke out in the parking lot. Security cam footage captures 2 men wailing on each other in the parking lot, to the point where they eventually start wrestling on the ground. And that's only the beginning. Moments later, one of the men gets behind the wheel of a car and drives into the other person he was fighting. The man in the car then backs up and repeatedly tries to run the guy down over and over again. When police finally get on the scene, the man behind the wheel backs up once more and smashes into a parked cop car. That's when he gets out of the driver's seat, covered in blood, and throws his hands up. All of this took place at the Lincoln Tunnel Motel, better known online as the TikTok Motel. The motel's owner has racked up more than 31 million likes on TikTok, documenting his journey as a business owner.
People ask me, Brian, what's the best thing about running a motel? Well, my answer is one.
The motel is dedicated to helping the homeless and providing those who have fallen on hard times with a safe place to sleep, but police note they're frequently called to the inn.
We respond there routinely about 3 times a day.
The fight caught on camera apparently broke out as one of the men was helping someone who got evicted move out. The man who was run into was believed to have experienced only minor injuries, and the 42-year-old who drove into him faces multiple charges of assault, burglary, and theft.
Man, shout out to my homegirl Angie over at Notice News. But this is crazy, man. The Lincoln Tunnel Hotel Motel, the TikTok Motel, as they call it. And yes, she also reported that statistically speaking, poverty makes people be violent, a lot of violence, etc., etc. You get what I'm saying. But that does not make it right for people in this type of situation to take, you know what I'm saying, high-power decisions and want to beat the snot out of somebody, feel like they can make the decisions on whether or not somebody's supposed to be here or not. So y'all just be careful out there as y'all see the country is going through something, so a lot of attitudes is going to be